Ineos want Ruben Amorim to stay, but they're concerned he might walk. And it goes on to say that Ruben Amorim has threatened to walk before. United take that seriously, that he's not just, threatening to walk. He is a personality that would. We'll talk about that in a moment. And also, he's becoming more and more disillusioned with how much scrutiny there is on Manchester United after every loss. He feels that he is building something, and it will obviously take time. But at Manchester United, the media basically destroys the job. And I have to say, I don't get led by the media. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I did see something this morning, and it did resonate, and it basically said, when you look at Man United, they didn't get a goalkeeper, they didn't get a midfielder, they finished 15th. The ownership is an absolute joke. They're not spending the money that the top four are spending. They're not paying the wages that the top four are spending. Logically, when you put all the ingredients together, Man United are going to be nowhere near the top six. But the media demand that Man United should be top, and they indoctrinate fans into that mindset, and it makes for an environment that nobody can be successful in. I do agree with that. I think, as I said yesterday, two things can be right. I do agree that the media feed off Manchester United in a situation where, sometimes there's facts that would dictate that they're being very, very unfair. But the media don't put Bruno Fernandes in midfield. And that's the problem. If Amorim wants buy-in from the fans, we can fight that media. We know the media use Man United. We know they over-sensationalise everything. But don't put Bruno in the midfield. That's the problem. So, do I think that Ruben Amorim is going to quit? Do you think that Ruben Amorim might quit Manchester United? I think that if you were... I'm trying to word this in the right way. No, I don't think he'll quit Manchester United. I don't see the point. Why would you quit? Why would you make the people responsible's job any easier? It's like, why would you do that? What loyalty would he have to the Glazers to make their life easier? They won't have to pay him off. He's seen as a quitter. They get away with it. The Glazers are sat in a very, very comfy chair at the moment. No one ever talks about them. The wage bill is coming down. The expenditure is going down compared to our rivals. We've never been so bad. There are no protests. There are no Glazer out movements. We are worse than we've ever been. Everybody's talking about the manager again. They are on comfy street. Why would Amorim make their job easier? They're under no pressure anyway. Why would Amorim leave? Why would he go, you know what, I'm going to make your life easier? People think he's making Sir Jim's... Sir Jim doesn't own the club, the Glazers do. So if Ruben Amorim walks, he's basically protecting the Glazers because they're in charge of the football club. They wouldn't have to pay him 13 million quid. He'd be seen as the quitter. As much as some people might say it's quite commendable and brave to walk away from a situation that is hopeless, they should pay him for doing it. I mean, look, I don't know what Ruben Amorim's like. And, as I've said, I think if you walked away, there's an element of stupidity. But there is almost an element of moral code as well. But honestly, I'd be taking advice from other people. And if I was advising him, I'd say, absolutely don't walk. Don't walk. Stop picking Bruno in the midfield, but don't walk. I mean, if you literally picked the right team, in fact, it'll take you 2 seconds, type it into AI, and then you get the sack, you'd probably walk out a hero. So I don't think he's going to walk. I think that in some ways it may well be lazy to even run that story because I don't see him walking. I think every single one of us would say the only people who want him to walk are the people who want a new manager. And that's not a reason for him to walk. If you were in those shoes, you'd be mad to walk away. Why should you walk away from what has probably been a very, very, very difficult 12 months? Why would you not want to be compensated for that? He's going to get a job elsewhere anyway. I don't see him walking. I don't see him walking at all. I think that would be crazy, in my opinion.